Hi, hello, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning, and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimi, our passionate heart,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes. Long time.
Long time. Okay, guys, we're back again with a new episode in November. It's been a minute. We had October was really crazy between work, personal,
Yeah.
so much happening. But
Living
here,
life.
yeah, life, just life is life be
Just
lifing.
lifing.
We have lives outside of the podcast, and it was one of those months where it was really hard
Mm-hmm.
for us to find time to record together.
Yes, and be
So
prepared for December because that's another lifing type of month?
yeah,
So
yeah. So we have on this episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of things that have been happening. Halloween just passed, so got to talk about that. The hurricane, so much happening. So we're going to get into that in this episode. But before we do any of that, we have to check up. And normally I would say, "How was your week, friend?" But it's been a good two, three
right?
weeks. Anyway, we have to check in and check in. How have you been?
I've been okay, in the last few weeks. Just doing the life thing. My daughter is taking a new step in her spiritual journey to God, and so I'm embracing that as much as I can. Work is working. Like, honestly, this I cannot wait for this quarter to be done and for me to take some vacation time and just be off a bit and not have to worry about the job. In terms of family, everybody's good over here. We're not looking forward to what's to come in terms of snow
Uh huh.
because that is on its way. Finding out this week that we're supposed to have snow tomorrow.
Yeah, they said there was gonna be a lot of snow,
Yeah, about 10
supposedly.
centimeters, they're saying. But, well, they really don't know. It's a big guess. Uh,
Hopefully, they're over
you know,
exaggerating.
I know, right? And I feel like sometimes they do just to hype people up. But either way, we're okay over here. How about you? What is going on?
I'm okay. Just had just some annoying things. I've been having a leak in my house in my bathroom, and it's been driving me crazy. And I was like trying to look into
Mm-hmm.
obviously anytime you have water you should get help. But I took a
Mm-hmm.
look online. I'm like, okay, these are a couple of things that do doable. Everything I tried, it's not working. So now I have to go freaking sorry, but it's been really annoying. It's been here today
Mm-hmm.
dealing with
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah, just have to call somebody and get some help to address it. It's like literally driving me crazy because in my the leak is in my the washroom in my room, so I
Oh
can't get away
yeah.
from it.
Yeah. I know if it were in the other washroom, they just close the door. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
just close the door. But it's like literally like that's like normally you take patience and you just
Yeah.
but it's like oh my god. But anyway, I'll
Yeah.
deal with that when I can. Yeah. I came back from vacation. Outside of all the work stuff I was doing last month, I took the last week of October. I went away to Antigua, which was very lovely. Unfortunately, that glow has already worn off, but I'm glad I took that time to enjoy it while I was there.
Get it
And what
in,
else?
man. You
Yeah,
gotta
you got to
get it
get it in
in.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
like in November will come and go really fast, and then you're just stuck into the holiday season, and you got to get
Right?
through that, right?
Oh,
So,
okay. Mm-hmm.
um, you know,
And then that
uh,
first quarter, I'm telling you,
yeah.
that
Well,
first quarter.
I always say, and every time I forget, I put it off. But honestly, I need to make sure try and book another that's another time to really do a good
Mm-hmm.
vacation. You
Mm-hmm.
could do your winter vacation either early January because it's like really slow in the office, you're not really missing anything, or even if they're trying to ramp up, it's like nah, y'all
Right?
ain't doing
I know.
much. It's not really till that. It's like Labor Day, like when you go back, when the kids go back to school, and
Mm-hmm.
there's just a new energy, regardless if you have kids in school or not. There's just a whole new
Yeah,
energy happening.
definitely.
So that's kind of what January is like. It's like a reset.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think another good time in the winter is the end of February because it's still cold as tits,
I'm
and
telling you.
then you miss out on the March break, not madness that's going on with everybody's traveling in March, right?
Right?
So yeah, so I'm already thinking of my next one. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
But
girl.
otherwise, generally,
Yes. No, honestly,
um,
I'm down with the vacation. I need to take a vacation too, like out of the country, like out on a plane someplace.
so we're warm.
Right? I know, I know. And since you told me about Antigua, I'm like, And she showed
Yeah, I
beautiful
would
pictures
say
of the place. So I'm like, hmm.
yeah, I was telling somebody from my work about it. They were asking me, they're like, "Oh, I was looking into that as well." And I would say, like, if you like, the thing is, everybody likes something different on their vacation, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe depending on which time of the year, you have different kinds of vacations that you have, right? For me, this was really I need a break. I need to slow down. I need to just enjoy some warmth. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
do too much. I didn't want to be up and down all over the place. Like, yeah, I've gone to Europe. I've gone to different, like, had my adventurous travels. I did
Mm-hmm.
not want anything adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to relax, just
Just
have a
peace.
beautiful,
Just some
be on the
peace and
beach, be
relaxation.
warm,
Mm-hmm.
um, and enjoy my time with. I was hanging out with my sister, my mom, and just enjoy the company I was with, and
Mm-hmm.
catch up on some reading, and that's as much as I wanted to do on this trip. And Antigua is wonderful for that.
That's right.
If you're looking to do, if you're like really into an intense vacation where you need to do all the things and go to all the parties, I wouldn't say, like, I actually, Antigua does have, like, it's a Caribbean, so if you want to
Yeah.
party, there's always somewhere you can find to lime and
Of
jump up and have fun.
course.
But I think they have their what's the time, prime times for that, which is Carnival. They even have Carnival plus Caravana. They have a different
Yeah.
Caravana,
Yeah.
and their Independence Day, which is the day after we left. So we didn't get to enjoy the festivities of Antigua's Independence Day, which would have been very
Mm-hmm.
fun. But it's beautiful and it's relaxing. What more could you ask for?
And it's worth going to.
Yeah, and it's,
So,
you know what? It's also affordable. I actually didn't mention. Since if I'm going to share
mm-hmm.
my experience, yeah, I find it very affordable. Because there's places surrounding it are a little bit more expensive.
Mm,
Like what's around? They have St. Kitts, Grenada, like some of those other islands. And it's just the cost usually relates to how often planes go there.
right, right,
And so, like, if you look up a flight to Antigua and Air Canada, you're gonna be like, what?
right?
Excuse me?
Forget about it.
But
Mm-hmm.
American Airlines goes there pretty regularly, so I was able to get a ticket just under 500, and I bought it late.
Nice.
I bought it like 3 weeks before we were supposed to go. So imagine if I gave myself 6 weeks. Like, I normally, at
Right?
least at minimum, at least, if I'm booking a trip, I think 6 weeks is like giving a good grace period, so you're not getting
Yeah,
shanked.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I recommend it. I didn't get to go. They have, so it's Antigua and Barbuda. Barbuda obviously is very small. I don't think it's inhabited by much. I don't even think it's really inhabited by many people. And if it is, it's most likely migrants or people who want to be in like the more natural habitat. So they have a lot of wildlife there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really into wildlife and adventure and ecosystems, that would also probably be a cool place to visit if you go to Antigua during your trip. So yeah, I'm good. So hearing that, like, I had a great time. Life came back and hit me hard and fast.
That's
Um,
okay. That's okay.
so,
That's
but
why it gives you memento to plan another vacation.
right, right, right,
You
right,
know.
right.
So.
So yeah, I've been thinking about that. So yeah, so thanks for asking. So we're back, guys, and of course, we're so sorry that we've had these big gaps in episodes. I've been trying to keep up with our schedule, but it's just, unfortunately, October was a wild month for me.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can breathe a little bit more and get us back up to pace with our episodes so you guys don't have to wait too long. Forgive us, forgive us. So thanks again for
Yes.
tuning in. We appreciate you. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please favorite or follow the podcast so you can be up to date when we release new episodes. Leave a comment, give us 5 stars. We're also on YouTube and other streaming platforms, so look out for us there. Thanks again for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so
And
now
we did miss y'all. We missed
we
y'all.
did, we did,
We
we
did.
did.
We did.
We
So
didn't want to be away, but it was just crazy. It
we
was
had to do
crazy.
life, like
Hmm.
it's just,
Yeah,
what a bother.
it
Like we
was,
just have
yeah,
to do
definitely.
life.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Whew. So, all right, headlines, everybody.
Yes.
So we're gonna start with something that we just have to get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So Hurricane Melissa
Yup.
happened, and it's interesting. So a couple of days before I went on my vacation, my uncle who's visiting from Jamaica. He lives in Kingston with his family. Was letting me know that he was keeping abreast of the upcoming hurricane. He had
Mm-hmm.
his phone out. He was listening to the, like, literally minute hour, not even hourly, minutely updates
Mm-mm.
on the hurricane
Yeah,
about to
man.
hit Jamaica, and he was trying to ensure that his house had some little extra security with his wife there and stuff. And so they were going back and forth between seeing, the category it would be by the time it reached Jamaica's
Mm-hmm.
area. And so they're going back and forth between 4 or 5, but they were anticipating it to be very strong. They were saying it would
Mm-hmm.
be at least a 4 and a 5,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people were hoping and praying before it actually happened, that it would weaken, which is it usually that happens sometimes. The winds of the hurricane weakens
Mm-hmm.
before it actually hits, and weather forecasts are not always 100% accurate, but unfortunately with this one it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so it hit the island a little bit sooner, or than I think they were anticipating. They were saying it was supposed to hit on the hello.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm
Oh,
listening.
that's, I know
Yeah,
my mic.
yeah, yeah. Yes, it
um
is unfortunate because they thought they had more time to kind of shut
yeah,
down things to get people, off the island. But you can't really like this is what we should learn.
the people weren't gonna go anywhere. I
We
think there
can't
were certain.
plan for natural disaster. Like you
Mhm,
could
you can.
try, you
You
could
can try.
try and prepare and do the best you can, but ultimately we don't know when things are coming.
Mhm.
You know, in one breath, a meteorologist could look at something and turn his back and turn back again, and it's like, whoa, where did that come
Yeah.
from?
Mhm, mhm.
That's just Mother Nature. And so they were thinking that it was going to happen later in the week, I believe,
Mhm.
but Mother
A
Nature had a
little bit. I don't.
different.
Yeah, I think it was a little earlier, but it wasn't too much.
No,
Like,
no, no. But it was,
um,
I think it was a 48-hour difference or something like that. Like
around,
some
yeah, something like that.
24 to 48-hour difference.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wouldn't have got on no plane. I wouldn't have
No,
got on no
nobody was
plane.
gonna go anywhere because, and we hear this all the times, even in places where in, like, the United States, where they have common, like, flooding and hurricanes, like Florida and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Excuse me, people are so desensitized. Um, and you shouldn't say that, because then if it's really catastrophic, everybody's like kicking themselves. But a lot of people were not going to leave their homes, and a lot of people don't have anywhere else to go. And it's not like in the United States or even here in Canada, where they have a lot of resources and infrastructure for that kind of stuff. You could tell people to leave where they're supposed to go
Right.
if their whole family lives in that area. It's like, not really
No,
realistic to expect
what
them.
I was
Mhm.
seeing a lot of, which was disappointing from the American people that were
Mhm.
in Jamaica
Oh yeah, that was
visiting and stuff,
disgusting. I
like
know what you're
tourists
talking
and
about.
stuff like that.
Oh god,
I'm not
yeah.
going to go into it, but they did at one point, they were trying to get those tourists off the island, but
Well, those people I don't feel sorry for.
no, I don't.
Mhm.
Listen, I don't know why you'd go anywhere in the Caribbean in hurricane season, but that's a whole different conversation. But at the end of the day, they did try. They weren't successful, and there was a lot of people that are still actually on the island. And what was nice to see is that some of those people decided to actually help instead
Mhm.
of sitting and complaining and whining. They actually, picked up a shovel, moved a rock, help somebody,
Mhm.
like do something, it's really a traumatic experience for everybody. And so I
Mhm.
think, coming together is the best solution at that time. So it was nice to see that there were some people who were tourists that just said, okay, well, we're here. So we're not going nowhere. And so let me help. And to be quite honest, if I were a tourist somewhere and there was a hurricane, I don't know if I'd want to get on a plane and go anywhere at that point. I think I'd be safer on ground than in the air. Do you know what I mean? But hey,
Yeah,
teach their
you
own.
can't even really go. Yeah, like some planes, like while I was a little bit worried before because again, all of this was picking up just before I left. Um, but I'm like, well, if it's really that bad, they're not even gonna fly us out there, right?
That's true.
And also when I was there, like about 3 days in, there were some other Canadians that flew in from Air Canada, and they said they took a detour. They had to take an hour detour to change their route
Mhm.
because of the hurricane.
Mhm.
So even if it was not like where they were going on the route, there is a lot of disruption and turbulence because of the activity, the hurricane activity in the area. So it hit so we all knew it was always going to hit that area of Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba, which
Mhm.
are they're all very closely aligned. But in Jamaica, it was mostly the most devastating places that got really hit the worst was Westmoreland, they said, the Western
Mhm.
Saint Elizabeth, Trelawney, Manchester, I think, as well. So
Kingston.
all
Mhm. Parts of
well, I'm saying
Kingston, I heard. Yeah.
I'm saying the worst.
Well,
See,
the word.
everybody
Yeah, yeah,
got
yeah,
hit.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the whole
So
island got affected. You're right. You're
the
correct.
whole island got affected in that 70 to 80% of the
Yeah, but
people
the
were without
yeah.
power
Sorry to
for.
interrupt you. You were mentioning the ones that hit the
Yes,
worst.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because I say that because I have family in Kingston and area, and
Mhm.
I mean, yes, there was some minor damage, but like
Mhm.
compared to what's going on, the images
Yeah.
that we're seeing are coming from the western side of the island, and that's where the devastation is. And so a lot of we were talking about this help and support is needed to rebuild Jamaica, and
Mhm.
they are saying that part of the country is looking like it will be years upon years to reconstruct. That's how devastating. And they're
I hope
saying,
to God not, but yeah.
right? I hope to God not. And they're saying that this is the worst, which I didn't know. It's like you see these things like
Mhm.
they were anticipating um the hurricane, but they're saying this is one of the worst hurricanes they've had in recent years.
And from what I heard, ever documented,
Mm.
that this was they had the worst winds.
Mm-hmm.
They were right at one point almost at the eye of the hurricane.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Right, and so I heard that this was like one of the worst recorded hurricanes ever. And
Wow.
look at Jamaica. We look about with Talawa. Okay? For real, because the people were standing strong. I was seeing different clips where there were some Jamaican people, and I understand this is your home,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they were on top of their roof trying to hold down the roof. I said, Lord God, sir, you need
Yeah,
to go
it's
inside the
yeah. They
house.
said yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
It's like,
185 miles per hour
okay,
winds.
that's ever recorded. That's what
That
I
will blow
heard.
you right off the roof, buddy.
My man was on top of the roof trying to hold down the tin roof. I said, Lord God, before, but it's your home.
Yeah,
And that's one thing, Jamaicans are prideful of their home. Like, this is my home. I take care of my home. I love my home. Um and there were some people who were obviously a lot smarter and said, let me stay within, door frames. And you saw a lot of people,
hmm
they've gone through hurricanes in the past, so they kind of know what to do. And, either which way, it's happened. And now, hopefully, the world will come to the aid of Jamaica.
yeah.
Really,
The
I
death.
hope and pray. So,
Yes, and I'm gonna go to that next. In terms of celebrities and stuff helping, but
hmm
they're saying UN News says nearly a third of Jamaica's annual wealth was wiped out by Hurricane Melissa.
Jesus.
Considering the area of the island, because of that side of the island is a lot of the touristy area. A lot of the touristy
hmm
areas are on the western side. So yeah, people who own bed and breakfast, the homes, all the official,
Just
like
think,
all the
one
middle class
third.
folks,
That's a
1/3.
lot, especially
Yep.
when it wasn't. Like Jamaica is a progressive island. It's progressing. Like don't get me
Mm,
wrong, but this is not the Western world. This is
no.
not. They don't have the same infrastructure. They don't have. They just don't have it. And Lord God, to be wiped out one third, like that's a lot. That's a lot for a small island like Jamaica. But like I said,
Mm.
we little but we talawa. So it's very true in this case, and they'll be all right. And I
Yeah,
think
prayers up and
yeah.
RIP to they said the death toll in Jamaica. I think they said I heard 28 before, but I just saw it's gone up to 32.
Oh really?
Um,
The last
so
time I saw was 28 too.
yeah,
Yeah.
28 is the number we've been seeing everywhere. So rest in peace to those who
Mhm.
lost their lives, and I'm sure not just the people who passed away, but again, there's people probably injured, damaged. So prayers up. And so let's get into the help now. Like what are we
Yes.
doing? What are people doing to help recover and bring shine some light and hope into this story? And so a big one. So we have the Jamaican celebrities. So we have Vibes Partel, Shaggy, Sean Paul,
Beanie
all matching
Man. Yep.
Beanie Man, Ramech, a lot of them. Like I'm
Mhm.
just mentioning the
Shensia.
biggest names.
Mhm.
Yeah, right? A lot of the Jamaican celebrities, Shelly-Ann Fraser, like all the Jamaican
Even
celebrities who are
Ice Spice, not Ice Spice. Sorry, people. Spice.
yes,
Spice.
all of them. I will have to say are Jamaican celebrities. They're holding it down. There's,
Yeah, and
they're
without
holding it down.
question, probe. Nobody had to probe them. They just
They
did it.
just they went out and they're going online to say that the island needs help and appeal to their global fans to get help. And so
Mhm.
hey, kudos to them.
Yep.
As well as so Nicki Minaj is a big one that
Mhm.
with her Barb's Foundation has gone down there to distribute essentials for homes. So that's not just food but
Mhm.
stoves, gas, because you need, if you have the food you can't cook the food. What's the point of having
Right?
the food if you can't cook the food, right?
Give me a bag of rice. I'm gonna have no pot. Okay.
Right, right. So she's been bringing a lot of those essentials there so people can actually
Mhm.
cook the food that they're getting through all these other programs.
Mhm.
Um I've also seen some other a lot of celebrities in trying to, the thing is it's kind of like Oprah when she was asking for money for Hawaii. I have seen
Mhm.
some other Americans being like appealing for the sake of Jamaica. And I know it's because their fans are asking them, but I'm like, and I'm sure they are. I'm going to assume. I'm going to, me. I always like to see the brighter side of the coin of the
Mhm.
hill. But like, my hope is if you're asking, going online to ask for additional donations, that you have also made a big contribution yourself as somebody who's well to do. If you're, if you fall
Yeah.
into that
Yeah,
category,
you better
that's my
be.
hope.
I'm
That's my
sorry.
hope. But believe it or not, we've seen it before. So, um, let's assume that's the case. What
Yeah.
about you? Do you see anything else? Is there anybody else in terms of Oh, and I'll also say, I won't say my company because just to have
Mhm.
privacy. But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, my company, all the Caribbean folks, we have like a Caribbean group where we've been rallying around to get funds, and even through our kind of giving program in a company to donate to
Mhm.
I can't remember the name of the organization, but it's pretty much an organization that funnels funds to like nonprofits that are community based nonprofits, and it goes
Yeah.
direct. There's
Yeah.
no hands like out, like government,
Like Red
politician.
Cross. Mhm. Yeah.
No, none of that.
Yeah.
And that's my thing, because we all heard, I'll never forget how when we found out how Red Cross Red Cross mismanaged the funds for the Haiti earthquake many years ago. I'll stop there. I won't even get into that.
No,
Oh,
and you are right. They are crosses. They're people that is crosses. How
mhm,
you take the people money to help and go, listen. Let's not. But
mhm.
look for those reputable, smaller
Yes.
organizations that are hopefully directly linked with other organizations on the ground in Jamaica. Also, I was gonna say, go to your church,
Yeah, that's
wherever the local
yeah. The
church
churches
is.
are.
The churches, they know about it. They are helping. I know that in my church. Morning Star Fellowship
Hmm.
Christian Church. Yes, they do have a few members that have direct links to organizations in Jamaica. So it's a good place to start. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, it's funny because I was just talking to my mom and she was like, they're telling me not bother with the food. Everybody has send food. How about toiletries? People need toiletries. They need
Hmm.
clothes. They need
Yeah, it's true.
shoes. We don't necessarily think of that because food is obviously our first priority. We don't want anybody to starve. However, these people's homes were literally washed away.
Hmm.
Literally washed away. So, just think, you don't have a lot of time to grab all of that you need, right? And you're worried about your safety. And so now that things have subsided and people look around, they need clothes. There's babies that need formula, not so much the food thing again, because there's lots of food going. I just want people to include other things that are needed. And so it was nice to hear that Nicki Minaj wasn't just some, and listen, anything is a good thing, right?
Yeah, anything, of
Anything
course.
is a
Yeah.
good thing. But just think, they don't have pots.
Mm.
So if you give me a bag of rice, now listen, Jamaican people are innovative.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay?
yes.
They could do a lot with a little. However, okay, rice need for making a pot. so, so we need some pots outside of the food, is what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
think of those things when you're donating. Think of those things: toothpaste, toothbrushes, clothes, diapers, you know, um, bibs. Like, there's babies out here who don't have none of that,
Yep.
So, again, but either way, give from the heart. Give from the
Yep.
heart. Help your brother, help your sister in need. We do it all the time everywhere else. So, Jamaica really needs it right now. So I'm glad that I do see all of these celebrities that are willing to use their platforms to speak up for the Jamaican people, because majority of the island does not have electricity.
Mm.
So you're not going to see too much coming specifically from the island, and their news stations, like, they're trying to get themselves together right now. So hopefully we can all help. We can all help in some shape or form. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too small. Don't ever think that, oh, this is not enough. Um, because when you have none, something is more than enough. So, yeah. But anyhow, Jamaica, prayers up.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers up.
Okay. Our, you know, our thoughts, prayers, and dollars are with Jamaica.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, quick thing, we didn't record the Halloween weekend, but we have to talk about Halloween. That's a big pop culture moment,
Mm-hmm.
and there's been, and every Halloween there's always something. There's always something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um. uh. So I would, before I get into the little piece of drama, um, excuse me, I was scanning some of the celebrity costumes, and you brought one up that I love, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're going to bring it up, but Heidi
Mm-hmm.
Klum. So I'll let you describe that. But I was like, Heidi Klum. She's Empress of Halloween, I think, at
I
least for
am
white.
I'm gonna designate her the queen of Halloween, because
For
honestly, every year she surprises me with the detailing that she puts into her damn costumes.
yes. And she doesn't, she's not trying to go for sexy or pretty. She's just gonna give you, she's gonna give you something. Boy. She's
Right?
definitely gonna give you something.
And it
Um,
feels like that's the one time of year Heidi Klum doesn't have to be pretty. And so she
right?
embraces
Maybe
it the
that's why
most.
she's so good at it.
Yeah,
That's
because some of it's gory. And I'm like, girl, how you think about all this? Who told you about that? Like, but her costume was Medusa.
Mhm.
And why?
And the ugly Medusa, not the pretty Medusa.
Right? That they want,
This
yeah,
the reptile one.
right? The one that had the real snakes moving on her head. Like, yeah, And this lady literally had snakes moving on her head. Like, her costume, You could tell she's been thinking about this and doing this for months. But she looked good. She, like, in terms of how well the costume came across, it almost didn't look like a costume. She has a yearly Halloween party that celebrities like to go to, and I, to be quite honest, I thought she looked quite. I was like, I mean, I don't actually expect less from her. If some,
Yeah, so
I
she's always,
don't.
yeah, she's like we said we wanted to talk a little bit about Halloween costumes. You don't even just go look, just search up Heidi Klum and you're gonna you know what
Yeah,
I mean, you know.
yeah, and they
So
look realistic. That's the thing, is that it
she puts a
looks
lot of effort in the
really
makeup and
realistic. Like,
everything. Yeah.
you can tell she has, like, whoever is designing it, like whoever is actually putting her vision to actual life, like they are spot on, like spot on. She has a lot of what do they call them, prosthetics, or what they call them,
Prosthetics, yeah, yeah.
prosthetics, sorry, prosthetics. But it doesn't even look like they are. It really looks good. So take a look see over the years. I'd say go back for the last 5 years. This lady invests a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money into these costumes. And to be quite honest, she, to me, she's the queen of costumes. If you ask me, I haven't
Yeah, I
seen
agree.
anybody do it better than her.
Totally agree.
Because she doesn't pick the cutesy, um oh, I'm gonna wear cat ears. No, she does the ugly. There's one where she's a human being that's like cut open or something, and I was like, what, girl? Right? Attention to detail much. But it's really great to see the effort that she puts in. I guess this is the time of year that she really, really likes, and so you can see her effort. Were there other
Yeah.
costumes that you were like, okay? There were a few that I was like, oh,
There
okay.
was a few, like like you, I went to the classics, the people that are traditionally, they're gonna go swing big on
Mm-hmm.
Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So there was Megan the Stallion. She was an anime character, Jujutsu Kaisen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which, that's expected. Interesting enough. And these are just honorable mentions. I'll tell you my favorite in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Halle Berry. Sorry, Berry. Halle Bailey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
she
this
was
article
pretty.
is calling her Halle Berry. Come on, W
I
magazine.
know, I know. I was like,
It's Halle Bailey. Clearly, what the hell? She did. And we're going to talk about doing real life things. She dressed up as as Lisa Bonet on the
mm-hmm.
cover of Rolling Stone back
Mm-hmm.
in the early '90s. Mm, Janelle Monet, she's another one who's always going to go all out. She was two different versions of a vampire at her Halloween party, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw a picture of her as Beetlejuice, which I think the Beetlejuice one is the one I like the most.
Right,
And
right.
then, okay, and then the last honorable mention, I would say there's a whole bunch of people, but I'll just say, I liked Ice Spice's Sailor Moon. That was actually pretty creative, and it fits the fact it's on brand for Ice Spice.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, that's about it. Halloween's kind of passed, but just wanted to see if there is anything crazy this year outside of Heidi Klum. I didn't know, nobody went completely off. At least none of the big celebrities.
Yeah,
Okay, so
she
before
really
we
puts
move
effort
off,
into it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about this brought me to the topic of, I personally, this is me,
Mm-hmm.
my point
Mm-hmm.
of view only.
Mm-hmm.
I have a weird feeling of people dressing up as like real life celebrities.
Yeah, me too.
I think it could be honorable, but it can get kind of weird. And we're going to talk about Winnie Harlow and her costume as Whitney Houston in a second
Mm-hmm.
to pinpoint why I don't like really feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with it, because in theory it's like, okay, I think if you're dressing up as your favorite celebrity in an interesting moment, like, I don't know, remember when Lady Gaga went to the MTV Awards with the meat outfit where
Right.
she's wearing
Right.
red, like the slabs of
Right.
meat with blood all over? That's interesting. Okay, fine. I That's, pop culture moment. I get it. But then what happens when, God forbid, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some blurry lines once that person is gone. But I think in theory, dressing up as a character, any character, even if it's that same celebrity as a character in a movie, I no, but like that's fine. I get it. That's a costume, right? But anyway, Whitney Harlow dressed up as Whitney Houston, and she actually did. In doing my research for this episode, she actually did different versions of her on her
Yeah,
page.
she did, but there's some you could have left out, girl, and that was one.
That was okay. So the why, okay, why we're bringing this up? She dressed up as Whitney. One of her Whitney costumes was her dressing up as Whitney and reenacting,
Mm-hmm.
and reenacting. I'm gonna say that one more time, and reenacting. Whitney's appearance on the BET Awards when everybody realized that Whitney Houston was really on crack.
Yep.
That was when me as a young lady, as a kid who didn't really know all the signs and stuff, where I was like, oh shoot, the tabloids
Mm-hmm.
are really telling the truth. She
That's
is
right.
strung out.
That's right. That's
And
right.
yes, there was some funny at the time when she was alive. We found that funny because you're like, what? Whitney's acting a fool. What? Da, da, da. You better lay low. All that stuff, right?
Right?
And that's what Winnie Harlow reenacted. And some people are on her side, which okay, fine. There's a different generation happening. I could see somebody who's like 30 and under being okay with that. But for me, it's very distasteful knowing, and here's why it's distasteful for me, knowing that, okay, we know that was a moment when Whitney was like,
Her
what do they
worst.
say, your hem is showing, like her addiction revealed itself in that moment. And yeah, at
Oh,
the
it
time
was
when she was
bad.
alive, it was like kind of funny, as you know, as a kid I thought it was funny, but growing now as an adult, it was like, ouch type of thing, right?
Right?
And that the fact that she later on died because of her drug addiction. So that's where it's like, Winnie, I
Read the
don't think
room,
you need it.
Winnie. Mhm.
And even if you did have the outfit, girl, you did a reenactment, that's where I can't even give her any grace.
Well, right. And so I saw the other costumes that were inspired by Whitney.
Yeah, which they were nice,
Right?
yeah.
Exactly. So why didn't we just leave it there? Why
Mm,
did we have to take Okay, first of all, let's just bring it back one bit real quick.
yeah.
Whitney Houston is one of, if not the
Yes, yes, yes,
best
yes.
R&B singer that ever did it. Period. Let's just put that there. She's right up there with Michael Jackson. Right up there.
I would say yes, best singer.
Oh, oh, thank you, girl.
Yeah.
Best singer of all time to ever do it.
Mhm.
Let's just put that
Mhm.
there because what we're
Mhm.
not going to do, okay, is we're not going to focus on her downfall.
Right.
Now, Whitney had done so much before that time came. And I feel like if you chose to have other costumes that highlighted that part of Whitney,
Mm.
I just don't know why we had to highlight the cracked out part.
Mm.
Now, from my understanding, Winnie Harlow, like she's old enough to have been, maybe not at the time when that was actually happening. She understood it because she must have been really young.
Mhm.
However, growing up that that was the epitome of Whitney Houston's downfall as a singer. That night, that night,
Mm.
to this day, I distinctly remember in Living Color doing a
Mhm.
whole damn segment on this
You mean
award
Mad
show.
TV? I know what you're talking about, Mad TV.
In Living Color, but yes, sorry, Mad TV. It was the talk of the town. Okay,
Mhm.
it was the talk of the town. It was the buzz of Hollywood for a very long time, and it was the epitome of the downfall of this woman's career. So why would we want to emphasize that? Why would we want to go back there? Why would you doing reenactments? What I need you to do is hold her up. So all the other times, all the other costumes, that would have been just enough. We would have got it. We would have got
Mhm.
that you were
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. You didn't need to do that. But I know
Yeah,
that
I think she wanted a moment and she got it, but
yeah,
then
but is it really yours though?
mm,
That's the joke. Is it really yours? You got a moment for reenacting a woman who was on drugs and was spiraling in front of everybody.
Mm,
So
mm.
is that really your moment? No. I know that, publicity helps, or not. There was a point in time where people didn't want to have bad publicity, but nowadays it seems like there is no such thing. And I think that this was done in poor taste. I think that we all know the demise of Whitney Houston, so I
Hmm.
don't think that you needed to put it into a Halloween
Yeah, it
costume.
wasn't cute. To me, it's like
No, it's kind of
there.
cheesy.
Everybody was saying, well, I did see a video, and the person did seem a little bit younger, trying to defend her, and I was like, "Are you sick? Do you want to go down with her too?" Because she's trying to say, "Well, that was a pop culture moment." Yeah, but it was a
No,
pop
it wasn't.
culture. It was a pop culture moment, but in a dark way, not in a way where you're like happy. At the time when it happened, it was like, oh, people will call it funny, but now since she has passed, we look at that moment completely different, right? That moment, I don't look at it the same as I
I
did when I
think
was a
even
kid.
back then, people were okay. There were some that were taking that incident and turning it into comedy to
Yeah.
lighten the blow. But to
Okay.
be quite honest, that was the talk of the everywhere. Like
Oh,
everybody was talking about that. They were making fun of it after the fact, but I think initially people were so taken aback
yeah.
because
Oh.
you have to remember Whitney Houston was elegant. She was an
Mhm.
elegant person. So for her to, I remember it to this day. I wasn't that old. I wasn't that young.
Mhm.
And I remember looking at her like, Whitney, what's going on, Whitney? What we doing? What's up? Did you tell your stylist about the hair? Ma'am, in my eyes, I was like, there's something really wrong here. And so
Mhm.
I don't see how that was even comedy back then. And even back then, people got backlash for making fun of it because
Mhm.
they could see that this was someone spiraling in front of us. And we just couldn't understand Whitney Houston, like, and everybody blamed Bobby Brown for it.
At
So
the
there was a
time, yeah.
lot that was going on at that time. Anyway,
Yeah,
Winnie
sorry, yeah. And so before we move on, I want
wasn't
to
a
see.
good look, girl.
This is, in all fairness, Winnie, our Toronto Jamaican girl, she came back with something. I'm reading it. I just pulled it up. I didn't even read it yet, so I hope I'm not going to be pissed off when I read this shit. But here I'm going to read it. Firstly, majority of the responses have been. This is Winnie Harlow's response to the backlash she received on her Instagram page, of course, or Twitter. Who knows? On its social media, basically. Firstly, majority of the responses have been incredibly positive. I've loved seeing you guys love these Halloween looks. My video wasn't mocking Whitney. That clip
Girl.
has always been one of my favorite moments of
Use a
hers.
lie.
She was hold on. Hold on.
Use a lie.
She was radiant, funny, confident, and captivating.
And
She was
cracked
being
out.
awarded.
Girl, please. I can't. Okay, sorry. Let me let you
Wait,
finish.
wait, wait.
I was like,
Let the BS continue. Let the BS continue. She was being awarded. The way she moved across that
oh my
stage with
god.
flair and swag. Oh, iconic girl.
Girl.
Okay, anyway, let me finish it. You better lay low is something I say at
Finish the
least once a
lies.
week.
Yes, finish it.
My
Mhm.
mother is one of her biggest fans and named me Whitney after her.
Oh my
That's
god.
my real legal name. She's always a queen, been a queen in my house. People are more than headlines. A woman who could command a room, make you laugh, and carry herself like royalty. If all you see when you see Whitney are her struggles, you're missing her charisma, humor, talent, personality, and wit. She was hilarious, magnetic. That is what it is. What that is what should always be highlighted. The light that made us all love her. Attention to positivity, girl. Okay,
Winnie, it's better you
we've been
never
talking.
said nothing. You
Winnie,
know?
Winnie, if this is what you're gonna say,
It's better
okay.
you never
Anyway,
said nothing. It's better
because
you
why?
just
It goes back to your argument. There is yes, Whitney was all these wonderful things. So why did you choose this as a costume and one of the costumes that you did
like
of
make
her?
it make sense. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. If you're saying that in your household you held up Whitney Houston to the highest and blah blah blah,
Mhm.
then why would you want to emphasize anything that would make this woman look anything other than the best? Because Okay, when you look at Whitney Houston's career, that was a small fraction of her
Mm,
career,
literally
right?
0.001.
Okay, so why are we putting on that costume?
Yeah, girl, you tried it. You tried it, Winnie.
You
But
tried it,
anyway,
Winnie, and you need to do is you need to go look for another publicist because that one right there with
that
their
was
bag
some
full of
BS, girl.
lies, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
They,
so we'll move on from the
and she's
Halloween
31 years old,
hoopla.
Winnie. Okay, she's 31 years old. She knows damn well that Whitney Houston was on drugs in that. She, girl,
Okay, so we're gonna move on to, all right, Gucci Mane.
hi,
Gucci
bye,
Mane and
Gucci.
his wife Kior were on the Breakfast Club a couple weeks ago, I think, and I had come across the episode. I usually see some of their bigger interviews. If it's a really big celebrity, I'll check it out. And I did not know. It was a revelation to me. I was like riveted. I listened to that. It was like over an hour interview.
Hmm.
I listened it to from beginning to end.
It
There
was a
was a
good. It
lot,
was a good interview, though.
very good
Hmm.
interview. There was a lot of gems, and it's just an interesting story because Gucci. Listen. I like Gucci, but I'm not a Gucci connoisseur. I don't know his whole
Yeah, me too.
thing. I know he was pretty ratchet. That's what people used to love about him,
Yeah, yeah.
but I wasn't deep in it to know all these dramas. Like I know he's had beefs, but I just don't know his beefs like that. So it was very interesting and revealing to learn more about his past and kind of, the journey he's taken to be the man that we see now.
Hmm.
And um the main thing I would say headline is from that interview is he released a book
Hmm.
called Episodes: The Diary of a Recovering Madman.
Hmm.
And also he that
Inspiring.
same
Hmm.
right, and then also at the same time as the book he was releasing an album, which I do believe the album was also called Episodes, again, and alluding to the diagnosis that he had, which is mainly schizophrenia as well as bipolar.
Hmm.
It's like a combo type of thing.
Hmm.
And so a lot of it was talking about him and his experience with that, and obviously how his wife has dealt with it with him.
Hmm.
um and I think it was, considering that, because usually when we hear the word schizophrenia,
Hmm.
at least me, let me talk for myself, um I'm always like, oh, that person's mad up in like, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
usually when we hear crazy stories where the person had mental health issues and they've done something crazy and
Hmm.
violent,
Hmm.
it's not just schizophrenia, it's usually somebody with
Hmm.
paranoid schizophrenia.
Hmm.
So when I hear that word schizophrenia, it's very scary to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But them talking about it in real life terms, made me understand the condition a lot more. It also made me understand that, obviously, and I've heard this before, and I've known people close to me who've had mental health issues triggered because of substance abuse.
Hmm. Yep.
So there's some things that could trigger it off. And if you don't like trigger it, then generally you should be okay. You just know, though, you have something in the back.
Hmm.
You're aware that you have a certain condition that you can't trigger. And it was very vulnerable. It was, he was very
Yeah.
vulnerable and
Yeah, it
honest.
was.
I think it's hard to see a black man. I'm sorry, not only a black man, but a black man who came from the hood, as they say. He talked about growing up in a lot of poverty
Yeah.
and the things that he did to get to where he's at. But he was very vulnerable to say that he acknowledges that, I know that life made me who I am, but it also gave me a lot of issues.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, and then his wife's role, Keisha Kior, who was on the interview, she received a lot of backlash. I'll let you speak to that.
Hmm.
But she was asked by the team, like, what does she do to keep to kind of control, because basically he had a public episode, and he was naming a lot of celebrities, people in his camp, his friends. He insulted a lot of people in the
Hmm.
industry, and so that was one of the times where it was kind of revealed that he might not be okay.
Right.
So one of the things that Keisha did, in terms of, she knows, even for her own personal safety as well as protecting his brand, is when she sees that an episode is coming, she said things about taking his phone, removing social media, not taking his phone, removing social media apps off his phone,
Yeah.
and if he's really bad, making sure he's taking his medicine or receiving psychiatric care if it's like a bad episode.
Mhm.
She did also mention that since that time, that public breakdown, and when he was insulting a lot of people in his record label and his friends, he hasn't had a big episode like that before. But she says she does see signs to kind of curtail it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and the also interesting angle with her is a caregiver. And I was actually kind of worried about this because Charlemagne the God asked her, "What do you do? You know, you're helping your husband
Mhm.
manage his
Yep.
issues, his mental
Thought the
health,
same thing. Mhm.
and protecting his brand. What do you do to protect yourself to give you energy? Like, what do you know? Are you seeing a therapist? Like, basically, how are you she nourishing herself because she's putting so much out into dealing with the issue with her husband
Mhm. Mhm.
that that's going to deplete somebody. If
Of
you're a
course.
caregiver, all
Of course.
caregivers will tell you that. And she says she's strong, she doesn't need support, she's the therapist. And I didn't like that. I'll
At
just say that
all.
was everything was great, but I didn't like that was how she was dealing with it, because even if she's not burdened down now, she will be eventually. And
Mhm.
having a therapist or having help would be a way to what do you call it, proactively
Mhm.
make sure
Yes.
that doesn't happen. Yeah. So
Yes.
what did you think?
Well, first, I'm going to talk about Gucci Mane because it was his interview.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
But and I am going to talk about but uh, let me just
Yeah.
preface by talking about who the actual interview was about. Keisha, it was nice that you were there, but girl, pop in, two piece, and leave. Okay? There was no two piece. So I'm gonna give you your two piece on this here show. We're gonna focus on Gucci Mane. Now, I don't know all of his beefs out there either. I know that he had one, and I don't know if it's entirely resolved with Young Jeezy.
Jeezy. Yeah.
That was, I think, the biggest beef that we know of
Yeah.
because I think he did time behind that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, either way, Gucci Mane, you've grown, and it's so nice to see a black man grow. You've grown, and I can see you've matured. I can see that you've aged. I can see that you your true intelligence is shining. It shined real
Hmm.
bright in this interview. I'm glad that you are looking for ways to get your story out so that other black men can hear and hopefully, develop and grow just like you are. And it was really actually really nice to see a black man be vulnerable, and in his vulnerability was strong. He was so strong until his wife. Now, I don't think that a wife shouldn't talk. Like, don't get me wrong here, but this wasn't about Keisha. This was about Gucci Mane. And so there were times in the interview where I was like, girl, less is more. There were times in the interview where like I said to you, you were like, really? Yeah, I felt like handler vibes. Like it was like giving me like a little handler vibes. Not handler in the typical association of, the music industry. No. I mean, it's from a place of love, but it definitely seemed like you were a handler of his. I understand the type of mental diseases that he has. I get it. You need to have somebody who will take the reign when you're having episodes. However, there were certain things that she said that I felt should have stayed between the sanctity of their marriage. You didn't need to put that and broadcast that. And there were times where she overtalked him. There
Hmm.
was times where she felt like the interview was about her. It felt like there was times where it was like she wanted to be the one to answer the question, and it was like, but you're not Gucci Mane, so thank you. um it was nice to see her perspective because we never talk about the people who are family members, loved ones of somebody who has mental disabilities or mental diseases or whatever it is. And it was nice to have that perspective, but again, less is more. There were times
Yeah.
where I felt like, girl, you're showing us a little too much. It felt like, does Gucci still have that presence in your relationship as your husband and not a third child?
Mm.
That's what it felt like. Because how she was, I take care of everything. I just take off the apps and I know when it's coming. And I did it. And I'm like, girl, you sound like a mama. You sound like his mama. It moments you did. But Gucci again, thank you for making that book because I think that a lot of black men could actually benefit from it. Thank you for being vulnerable because a lot of black men will not be vulnerable with um their in their inabilities. He's not
Mm.
entirely sane. So there's times where he's just not able. He's just not able to be present as a husband and a father. And I can appreciate that. And I can see the vulnerability. And it was nice that we you could communicate that. Um I will actually look out for your book. I'm really curious to know more about
Mm.
Gucci Mane. I know he had it rough coming up. And
Mm.
I think a lot of black people have it rough,
Yeah.
but we just don't understand later in our lives how that having it rough, like it shapes you into the adult that you're going to be. And I really liked the interview, and I wanted to call out Breakfast Club because Breakfast Club, you actually are starting to put some real interviews on here where you guys are asking like real legit questions. Like it's not just off the dome, like just with the mess. Like some of the questions I can see,
She's gotten, I will
she
say,
has
as somebody who watches the show regularly, she's gotten a lot better
she
too.
has, and I think them having Lauren there is a constant reminder I need to up my game. And I think
Mm.
she is. But
Mm-hmm.
there were times, and it's not just Jess, but DJ Envy, like they just sometimes they talk off the dome and it's stupid ass questions. But I found that as of late, their questions are actually genuine. And her Charlemagne the God asking Keisha about, so what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I'll say, Keisha, you are a black woman. You are from Jamaica, and I know that there's some strong black women that come out of
Yes, as she
Jamaica.
said. Yes,
I
yes, yes,
know it.
yes.
I know it. I have one myself as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
However, we all need a place. We all need refuge. We all need to be able to put down the heavy burden. We all and
Yep.
we all need this, and
And we should be allowed to.
you have to, whether you
Mm-hmm.
want to or not, you have to, because if you're going to remain strong for this man, right, you have to pour into self. So let's not be delusional and think that that might not happen one day where you will come crashing down if you don't pour into self. So it was really nice that Charlemagne the God actually addressed that part, because I think that's a question that when family members and friends are dealing with someone who has mental illness, we don't focus on the person that's dealing with it. We don't ask them questions. We don't, how are you getting by, like how do you stay sane, like we don't ask those questions. And to be quite honest, she didn't really give an answer, and that was the part that kind
Yeah,
of
she
worried
didn't. Yeah,
me.
she didn't really give an answer
she
in
she
that.
went around it a lot, like she knows how to go
She's
around the
not to.
bush real good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's great, but I think it would have been a real um it would have been really great if she had answered that, because I think a lot of people might not know how do I deal with that, like how am I staying afloat and helping him and being all that I can be for everybody else. So it would have been nice, but she went around the bush, quite a few times with that one. So I after a while I was like, okay, so she's not going to really answer that, and that's cool. Because she's answering a whole lot. Um And I think sometimes less is more. And I think sometimes the sanctity of marriage should be preserved and not on sale. And I think that she was saying too much about their marriage, and how she helps him. I think
Hmm.
she could have dipped in for 10, 15 minutes, said her two piece, and left.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
But I will say, I could tell this is all from a place of love.
Hmm.
She loves that man. She really loves that man. And she's willing to give her all, her whole self, for the betterment of that man. So I can see and I can say that she loves him. She does. Um, but just remember, it's a romantic love, because it's very easy to slip from romantic to him, mother and son, right? And you're not his mother, you're his wife. So, Keisha, I hope you guys, and he hasn't had an episode in a long time. So, obviously, whatever she's doing is, it's working. But you have to pour into self. That's all I got to say about that. But you know what, Keisha, girl, I see you love Gucci Mane. I know you love the man. The seat. I can feel it. She does really love him,
Hmm.
and she's not backing down. And she's gonna stay with that man. She's gonna help him through it. And that's good. But pour into yourself too, because you're also a mother. So your children need you too. Not just Gucci. Your children need you too. So anyway, but Gucci gonna be all right. He has
Yeah,
books out
looks
here.
like
I
it.
heard
He's
he's
on the
dropping
right.
a new album. He's gonna drop something soon, some more music soon. Or no, he dropped some
Yeah, the same
music.
day
Yeah,
he dropped. So the same day as the book and the album came out that same day that
right.
they did the interview.
So Gucci's all right. Gucci gonna be all
Yeah,
right. Okay,
yeah,
because he got it from
he's
the
going
God.
in the
He
right
ain't going
direction.
back. So
Yeah.
he ain't going back. So Keisha made sure of that we ain't going back. So I'm glad. I'm glad to see that they're gonna be all right, the two of them. And I think she loves him, so they'll be all right. They'll be all right overall.
So quick hit. About New York City. Why are we talking about New York City? I don't think it's a question. New York is city is the biggest city in the world.
Yeah,
Everybody loves New York City. Maybe they love it. Maybe they hate it, but you're still gonna want to experience it, right?
yeah. And in
Anyway,
terms of
so
big cities,
mhm,
New York is Toronto's best friend. You understand?
mhm,
Best friends. We're Butty and Bench. We're right there. You understand? Toronto's right there. New York is right there. You
yeah.
know, um, a lot of the same type of style of living in New York as it is in Toronto. I think a lot of people, hey, if you haven't gone to New York yet and you're from Toronto, you must be new to the country, because everybody heads their ass over to New York. Why?
Yeah,
Because it,
I
it seems
think
like home.
New
It's
York is
home.
what I call a global city.
Yeah.
I mean that in that everybody in the world, if you're like, you know what, maybe you just travel for work, maybe not even for fun, but like if you work in a global company, New York is going to be in one of those stops. And lots of people in the world flock to New York because essentially it is the symbolism of America, or it
Yep.
has been. I don't know what's going on right now. It's in 2025. America's in a crazy place right now, but historically and in movies, people's idea of America is pretty much it's usually New York,
Oh, and
right?
where's the Statue of Liberty again?
New
Right.
York, New
Oh, okay.
York.
Okay.
So
Right.
anyway, as we wax poetic about New York City, they have a new mayor,
Yup.
Zoran Mamdani, 34 year
Manami, my
old,
man.
30
Yes.
he's 34 years old. Um a lot of people are bringing up his Muslimness. I don't know why, or maybe I should know why. I don't know why. I think it's kind of weird in 2025. And also what's interesting about him, even though his parents are, I believe, let me make sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
They're
Because he's Muslim.
socialists.
Well,
His
that is
parents.
another well, that is another issue with people have with him. But even though he's brown, he's actually from Uganda.
Yep.
His parents are Ugandan, like, Kenya and Uganda have a lot of I'm going to say Indian, I believe Indian ancestry. Yeah, they're
Mhm.
Indian, both they are of Indian descent.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we know, and especially in East Africa, there's a lot of people of Indian descent in that region, and so
Mhm.
his family is one of those folks. So he's Indian descent, but he's from Uganda, and his parents are from Uganda.
Mhm.
So
And his
as an
parents are
eclectic,
activists too. And they,
yeah, his both his parents are actually activists. They are what we call scholars, academic scholars, and his
Mhm.
mother is a filmmaker. Um, but they all believe in socialist values and ideology, and that is another. So two things that people were uncomfortable about him with is those two parts of his identity. However, especially now with who's president in the United States, and New York is traditionally a more liberal city and state in itself.
Mhm.
And so I don't think many people were surprised considering who his competition was, which
Uh,
is Cuomo
the predator.
and
Mhm.
you right? Which is crazy. It's crazy that they let him run. It's like,
I couldn't
listen,
even believe when I saw him.
after the stories came out about him as a official before, it's like, buddy, give it a rest. It's over.
Right?
Like New York is done with you because you were supposedly their hero, and you turned into a dirtbag. And unfortunately, those are things that can make and break you.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, he's a democratic socialist from Queens, and he becomes New York City's first Muslim mayor from a South Asian ancestry and the youngest mayor in over a century.
Now, can I just preface? I just need to discuss that real quick because you said
Yeah,
earlier, you said you don't know why, he's Muslim and why people have an issue.
yeah, I do know why, but yeah,
Right? Well,
yeah,
right. Okay. So I mean, I'm just going to say 9/11.
yeah. I know. I was being facetious.
I
I
know
know
you.
that's
I
why.
know. But there are maybe some people who don't see why people have such a problem with him.
Mm,
Seeing that, over the years, New York especially has been very progressive.
mhm,
Como has tried, but he's been a sleazebag in the background. So
mhm,
it's all gone to waste, as far as I'm concerned. Because when you leave your legacy of being, a perverted man, then to me, it doesn't matter what you did for the city. Because you always have to wonder what were you doing in the background. But with him,
mm,
9/11, the propaganda back then, Muslim, Muslim people had it hard since then.
mm.
And
Oh yeah,
so I could see why, right, that a l- I don't, here's the thing is that there were a lot of New Yorkers that were backing him.
yeah.
But there was a lot of New Yorkers that were saying, not as many, obviously, because he won,
Mhm.
but there were some that were saying this rhetoric, oh,
Yeah.
he's Muslim and oh, he's gonna blow us up and all this stupid shit, right?
Mhm.
That's propaganda from how many years ago that it's still kind of living and breathing
Mhm.
right now,
Yep.
unfortunately. But what I wanted to say was this man ain't about nothing else than New York. He's
Mhm.
not about Israel. He's not about all these people in the background raising millions and millions of dollars for him not to be voted.
Mm.
He's not about none of that. And he said it straight flat out when they were interviewing all the candidates. Oh, well, where would you want to go? He was the only one that stood up there as a mayor, and I want to say that word again, mayor of New York. Why would a mayor want to go to an international country to do what? So he said he wants to stay in New York and he wants to figure out what to do about New York. And I could appreciate that because it was a breath of fresh air in terms of politics because he wasn't willing to follow the trail of people and their answers, and he wasn't willing to be one of the sheep that is easily, led astray by, whoever. He wanted to he's there to focus on New York, and I really do believe he's going to do great things for New York, and he's going to surpass whatever Cuomo did, whatever he did, because like I said, his legacy is now you're a perverted man. And in that interview, he had
Mhm.
debating and so on.
Mhm.
This guy, this he pulled a move that he literally brought one of the alleged victims of Cuomo's to the actual interviewing, debating.
Damn.
She was in the crowd, and he said, because she can't speak, I'm gonna speak for her. And he
Yeah, I think I
called
saw a clip. Now you mentioned that, I think I saw a
called
clip
out
of it.
Kumo right there on it. And I was like, okay, okay. How could he not win? And he did. And I'm glad. And I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen to New York. Because for the last decade or so, I feel like a lot of New York has gotten neglected. Like a
Yep.
lot of it has got, like, their
They
infrastructure has
feel that way
been
too.
neglected, and
They feel
the
that way too.
people are just had enough. And so now they
Mhm.
have this new mayor, a new, fresh breath of air, and I'm excited to see what he's gonna do, because I don't think he's there to play around. I think he's really serious about what he wants to do, and I think the New York people, you are going to be very glad that you voted him in.
Yeah. Congratulations, New York.
Yes, New
All
York, New
right.
York. Hmm.
So we have two more segments.
Yes.
We could go really quickly on this one because
Hmm.
the point is very clear. So we're gonna go with first, Lord of Mercy.
God have mercy, Lord Jesus.
And so, in this segment, we talk about stories and things that we see. Where honestly, literally the only thing you could say is "Lord have mercy," or as us as Jamaicans say, "Lot of mercy." Jesus take the wheel,
Take the
kind of
wheel,
stories.
please.
And so, this week is very literal. We are talking about Pastor Marvin Winans of the Winans family,
Mm.
who went viral on social media,
Yowzers. Mm.
um for his church in Detroit, scolding a woman, an older woman. Now, that shouldn't matter, but yes, it does matter to me. Scolding an older woman who, on their day of giving, supposes, oh, this is probably their day that they get take donations for fundraising for their church or something like that. So it's this fundraising service. And I think the request was the attendees or church members
Mm-hmm.
were, and I've seen this before in some church fundraisers, is that you bring one amount
Mm-hmm.
and invite somebody to our special fundraising service who will match your amount. And in this case, this is not no play money. He was requesting his members to bring 1,000 plus 1,000, implying, of course,
Two
what
grand.
the exactly. And so my friend, my this woman, she came up and pledged her 1,200, or let's call it,
Just under
actually
1,300. Yeah.
we call it
Mm-hmm.
that, right? And he said that's only 1,200. And she's like, and this broke my heart. She apologized and she's like, well, I'll work on the
Right?
rest.
I
And he
couldn't.
just cut her off, and that's not what I asked you to do. And again, I'm saying this: the fact that it's not only a woman but an older woman who had every good intention to pledge to her church, that was not no chump change that she brought, but he was very dismissive of her. And him and his supporters have been trying to circulate the clip where, in that line, he says, the clip is basically saying, like, okay, this is for this 1,000 plus 1,000, whatever he wants to call it, but this is what this is for. If you don't have it, that 2,000, get out the line. If you don't have 2,000, get out the line. So he counteracted the viralness by bringing that out. But that doesn't matter to me because she's an older woman. Maybe she didn't pick up on it. Who care? You have the mic. People, it's allowed. Everybody's congregating to come up and give their donation. She did. She clearly didn't hear it, right? But now the woman comes up, and then now you're being dismissive and rude, and I didn't like that.
Mm.
And so I'm glad a lot of people online got on his case. They got on his case so bad, um, that what's his name, Tyler Perry, had to come in and swoop in and try and help him do some damage control, and he
Tyler.
donated $100,000 to the church.
Oh, okay.
But this is not really Tyler Perry. Yes, bless you for doing that, but no, 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 no. We ain't gonna have that.
No,
Yes, he
I'm
got his
not.
donation,
It's
but the
nice that
damage
he
is done.
donated. It's nice
It's
that he
nice.
donated. That's. But let me let you finish because
But and that's all. I was gonna finish there. So the response, the churchgoer, the woman, her name was Roberta McCoy. Um, and she was. I think they. I'm sorry. I think she was pressured to say this,
probably.
but she stated in the news or publicity when this was getting covered that that Winans absolutely did not rebuke me. She clarified the confusion was over which line to stand in, the 2000 plus line or the general line.
What are we
And Winans
saying?
attempted to correct the logistics of the line. So that's the video I'm telling you about that they've been trying to circulate. Winans also apologized to her privately. But I do think I've
Oh,
seen
you
there is.
humiliated her publicly, sir.
Right, right, right. Okay, so that was my point, and really, my thing is, listen, you are doing fundraising. She's bringing up her money in good faith. Why are you talking to her like that? Even if it wasn't covered, even if there wasn't this video going, I don't like that. But anyway, you go ahead.
Right. So first, I'm gonna talk about Tyler. Tyler,
Mm,
you don't reward negative behavior because it's just going to perpetuate the negative behavior. If people now find out that, oh, you could just go online and treat your churchgoers however you feel like, and talk to them on the side of your neck about money, and then some famous person is going to just donate $100,000. It's not a good look. I know you meant it from the heart. I know you wanted to help the church. That's great and all. However, you might have helped them in a different way, or maybe you could have taken that money and give it to several different churches. I just think
right.
that that was
Mm-hmm.
positive, that was negative reinforcement. And
Mm.
now anybody else, because this seems to be a trend, okay? He's not the first pastor. The other one was closing doors and stuff, locking people in and stuff. Okay, so this seems to be a trend. You are now, everybody's going to think, oh, well, the famous people will just donate. If it goes viral, then it will. So they'll start to treat their, you know, partitioners even worse. Okay? We're going to see a lot of this nonsense. First. Second, Lord, have his mercy. This is why I said, Lord God, you have to take the wheel. Because I don't understand the state of the church, of Christianity. I don't
Hmm.
know when it started to go this south, but from my understanding, um, your donation to any church, I don't care where it is between you and God.
Mm.
Period. So it's not for man to tell you how much you donate. It's not for man to tell you if it's okay or if it's good enough. God knows your heart. He sees your heart. He knows your intention, right? So we want those intentions to be good and not of conspiracy or not of greed or not of intimidation, because that's what it seems like these pastors are on as of late.
Hmm.
They're intimidating their churchgoers for their money, and that's not how God intended it. So this is really sad to see that even the churchgoer thinks that this is okay, and it's not. And girl, what's her name? Rhonda,
Roberta,
Roberta, Roberta, girl. Time to look on church. See me?
right? I'm sure she is, and I'm sure they're trying to go hush hush, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in that church who didn't like that
And
because again,
Mr. Winings, you embarrassed that woman publicly.
mm-hmm,
Take your backside back into the same pulpit that you embarrassed her in and apologize to her and to the rest of the church. And make sure you post that
post
apology.
that. Mm.
Okay? Because that was disgusting behavior. Whenever I see things like that, it breaks my heart because at this point in time, a lot of people are looking for God. They're looking for something. They're looking for hope. They're looking for grace. They're looking for someone to be on, like, they need to know that God is in their corner. And you are publicizing stupidness like this, where you seem to think that you have control over the money that comes into your congregation or comes into your church. You don't have no control over that. And as a pastor, you should know that if your church is doing well financially, it's because the good Lord up above has made it so. So I don't know why you think you need to step in front of God, okay? Like, you want to step in front of God, and it's like you're auctioning off, salvation or something. Like, it just doesn't rub me the right way. And so, all in all, Lord Jesus, take the wheel for real. And listen, Roberta, go find a new church. That church, find a new pastor. That one need to go sit down a little bit. You need to put somebody else in the forefront. Whoever else is left in that church, I think you guys should really hold that pastor accountable. You need to pray with him. You need to help him through that, but he can't go back in that pulpit for a while. He needs to go sit down someplace. Lastly, the only last thing I have to say is I hope to God that people who are out there looking for God don't allow this to stop you on your journey. Don't allow this nonsense to deter you from where you're trying to go. Because ultimately, as a Christian, I hope and pray that everybody get on a path towards God. So it's sad to see people like him. They could throw you off your path, and I'm asking you, don't let it. This fool right here, he going to get his day, because the Lord up above does not like ugly, and this right here was ugly. It was ugly. But you know what, anyways, prayers up to that church, and that they find a new head pastor. Whatever their donation that they got from Tyler Perry, hopefully that's gonna be used appropriately, to help the church. But we're gonna move on, because honestly, these people and the money and the church, I can't. Every 2 minutes, I just can't. Anyway, we're gonna move on into the workout, which is our
The
last segment.
workout. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, we haven't done a workout in a little bit. And, this is when, we decide that we're going to exercise our heart and our mental fitness here. We do a deep dive discussion on topics that are affecting us as the culture, impacting our culture altogether. And so, as of late, AI is out here doing the damn thing. Okay. Like, I'm telling
It's
you, they're
doing
taking
everything, and it's doing everything and anything.
literally. And so, one of those things, okay, is AI has entered the music industry. Sure has.
Mm.
It's
Hmm.
almost taking it over. Okay. And so we have a new artist out here who recently, I believe, just signed a multi-million-dollar
Yep.
deal.
Yep.
Uh, and so her name is Zene Monet. Is it?
That is the AI artist name.
The AI
Yes.
artist's name is Zene Monet. Now,
Hmm.
I listened to Zene, and I'm trying to pinpoint whose voice is that. Because I'm
What does it sound
hearing,
like? Because I didn't hear the music.
I
What
heard,
is it?
I
What
heard
is
a
she?
few of the songs, and let me tell you, whoever is the songwriter, if it's not AI generated,
No, the
Um,
lyrics are not AI generated,
well, that's what
supposedly.
she says.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly,
That's what she
right?
says. So, right, that's what she said. But anyhow, if it's not, they are deep. The
Yeah.
songs are really soulful and meaningful. Um, but here's my problem with it. Who the hell is singing that voice? Who who
Right.
who who did AI take voice from to make this
Yes.
song? Because I'm hearing notes of Beyonce, I'm hearing
Mm-hmm.
notes of Summer Walker, I'm
Hmm.
hearing like you know what I'm telling you. I'm hearing a whole heap of notes.
Mm.
I'm like, what? Wait, hold on. Beyonce? No, couldn't be. Um, and so this is a big topic that's been out here in the music industry, and a lot of people are up in arms, justfully so. If I were an artist, I would be too.
Yeah.
Um, it's so much so that the actual creator of Zene Monet, what is the young lady's name that
I tell
actually
you.
created? While you look that up, so
Talisha Jones or Nikki Jones.
Nikki Jones. So
Hmm.
Nikki Jones, she is the actual creator behind Zene Monet, and
Yes. She's the one getting the
supposedly she's
money.
the songwriter.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put that in air quotes, everybody. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
that in air quotes because I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
I'm with you there.
I wasn't there when you press send. I don't know. I wasn't there when you press and enter. I don't know. But what I can say is that she has now gotten publicity. She's been picking up publicity left, right, and center for this artist that she has created to the point where she's on the Gail King show.
Right.
Gail King.
Oprah's bestie.
Gail King. Nikki has gotten her backside on Gail King's show. What is happening? Okay, and so Gail, Lord, she's not even the auntie anymore, right? Like
No.
she's like the grandma at this point.
Uh oh. Oh, she doesn't even like us calling her auntie, and we're moving her to
Yeah,
grandma.
we're gonna
Lad,
move her up to
God,
grandma, okay? Because
lad.
that level of realness that she had in that interview right there can
Mm.
only come from a grandma, okay?
True.
So there were points in the time because the auntie she'll try to word it so you don't feel bad, and grandma just gonna say, "But you can't sing." So in interview, the girl's talking about her process, and Gail's asking her like, don't you see that this is a little controversial? Like, why would you make
Mhm.
somebody like this? And oh, and so Nikki decided to respond. She's an extension of me,
Mhm.
which I found to be puzzling in itself. But she said it's a okay, an extension of her. And Gail King, and I quote, said, "But you can't sing." Because her face didn't crack a smile. Her
Nope, she was
face
dead serious.
was dead serious. Like, what are you talking about? You can't sing. So, whew, it was a lot. You had to be there because in that moment, I was just like, Lord God.
I rarely do this, but I literally bust out laughing in real life.
Whew.
I literally bust out laughing in real life. I was like, Gail, you take it
None at
easy.
all. None at all.
Take
She
it
didn't give her
easy,
no
Gail.
grace, no nada. Gail just said flat out, but you can't sing.
So I guess we know what side of the fence that Gail's on, right?
Well, it seemed as though the interview was geared towards the ending of it, the clips that I saw at least,
Mm-hmm.
was that Gail wanted to leave an impression on the young lady who's created
Mm-hmm.
this artist
Mm-hmm.
that you are definitely now going to influence all the people who are part of the industry. Is that something really that you want to continue to do? That
Mm.
was the walk away that I got, was that Gail
Okay.
was trying to put to this young lady's mind, do you understand what you're opening? Do you understand the
Yeah, but
Pandora's box that you
that
just
is a
opened?
wonderful question to ask, and that's the wrong person to ask it, because you at the opening of this segment you mentioned my girl, and I saw that as well, signed a multi-million-dollar deal.
Oh,
So
okay.
at this point, she doesn't give zero.
Two
She
shits.
gives
She's on Gail King.
no. Right. She's on Gil King, getting roasted, but she's on Gil King.
And she's gonna let grandma roast her. She sat there,
I do like how she sat there. It was like that whole moment was so funny because she was like, "Oop,
right?
yeah, you got me, Gail. Nothing to say.
But
You
she kept
got me."
composure, which
Hmm.
I loved. I was like, I wouldn't know what to say at that point, right? Like, I think the interview would have been a wraps because what, like, how do I come back from that? You know what I mean? I can't. So, and it kind of spiraled down that that hole after a while when, you know, but I think Gail was trying to pose to this young lady that you are going to affect generations on top of generations of people who dedicated their life to becoming an artist. And
Mm.
so you've opened up Pandora's box, you know, and this is all for your own gain because now everybody else is going to, all these other artists are going to, so, you know, uh, now, with that being said, with the Gail King interview, it was funny. It was funny as shit. I don't watch Gail a lot,
Hmm.
because there's times where I find like she's a stick in the mud, and so
Yeah, she is. Generally, she is.
generally,
Yeah.
right, and so I'm just like, but this time around, you know, she definitely was spicy. She was definitely holding the girl accountable, and she was asking her some real hardcore questions that I don't think this young lady thought about. But what was interesting in this interview was to see how easily this girl made this AI musician, how easy it is. She showed a bit of how she, generates her songs and how
Hmm.
she pretty much made this AI musician. And it was fascinating, but in the same breath, it was scary because I was like, it's that easy? Really?
Yeah, she literally said she takes her poems, her quote unquote poems that she writes, her personal poetry, inputs it into AI platforms like Suno, and there's a lot of other platforms who generate
Hmm.
audio for you, but Suno is a popular one, and just puts prompts like female soulful vocals, like put this to female soulful vocals or slow tempo R&B, and that's literally all you have to do. And so to this debate, I mean, we've been hearing since like, okay, AI has been coming along a lot for the past few years, but it's only the past 2 years we're actually physically seeing, hearing,
Hmm.
and experiencing generative AI as we now know it today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so Kalani, as a reaction, I think Kalani came out and called it disrespectful to working musicians who have worked hard. And to King's point, it's a shortcut to artistry.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I'm going to say this as somebody who works in tech, and yes, AI has the potential to move humankind forward so well, but it also has the ability to cheapen
Yeah.
what makes us special.
Yeah, I agree.
And so when it comes to the creative arts, for me, it's fine to play around, but if you're seriously gonna call yourself a creator, and you could still use AI to create, but yes, use AI to create, but not to mimic, not
Well,
to cheapen.
take over because
Um, my
this,
hope is that it doesn't, but
no,
like I
well,
think
this
I
one
agree. It's
example you
going.
can
Mm,
see the ability because she has a multi-million-dollar deal,
yes,
and there
I
are
think they're
still
trying.
starving artists that are
Right.
trying to get someone to listen to them.
And it's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous that, but I think everybody, what's happening right now
Hmm.
is all the companies want to get in first on this AI thing,
Yep.
right? And no matter what kind of company you are, if you're in the digital world, you're gonna want some type of AI thing happening. So if it's music, if it's movies, if it's whatever,
Hmm. Hmm.
even if it's accounting, everybody's on AI,
Hmm.
so everybody wants to force it down our throat. But I think there are many gray areas, but one of the obvious gray areas with AI is creativity and the arts
Yeah.
and stuff like, movies and singing and
Hmm.
writing and all these things that we as human beings, those are the few things that we have. They come from our mind. Remember, as
Yeah.
an animal in the animal world, monkeys can't do it. Monkeys can do a lot of things that we can do.
Yeah.
They can't. This is one of the things that make humans unique and special.
Yeah. The rational mind. Yeah.
And the creative
Yeah.
mind to create out of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to have this thing called AI mimic it and cheapen it and try to replicate it, it's just basically, there's this saying out there now in pop culture called AI slop. It's all AI slop.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I kind of agree with it. I
Hmm.
listen, I know the direction technology is going. We all
Yeah.
can see the
Yes, we
direction.
know.
And
Yeah.
I don't think we have a choice to stop it. It's going in
No,
that direction, but I don't have to like it.
I
And
don't have to like it.
will
Yeah,
I
and I
be
think we
listening to this girl? Hell to the
no,
no.
no. If
Will
I
she
know
be
you're an
on the
AI,
radio though? Yes, she will
yes,
be. Yes,
she
she
will
will.
be.
She'll be pumped so much into your face that you'll get tired of seeing her. Okay? However, you still have the choice as the consumer.
Yeah.
You still
Yeah.
have the choice. And so this is where human beings have to make an active daily choice not to be involved with AI when it comes to music and entertainment. And one thing that I wanted to mention also was that this is going to level out the playing field. And what
Mm.
I mean by that is, in the Gail King interview, the girl, Nikki, that created
Mhm.
this musician, she said, I didn't have I wasn't the aesthetics.
Mhm.
I wasn't the artist that had the aesthetics. I mean, Gail King made it clear the girl didn't know how to sing,
Yeah, I was just about to say
right?
that it was
However,
more than looks.
we've
Mhm.
seen people who don't know how to sing,
Mhm.
J Lo, who
Mm.
still have a career in
Right.
music,
Right.
right? So, with that being said, it's going to level the playing field because if you want a human, you might have to accept the flaws that make that
Yeah.
human human, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And so, this is why I think, in terms of record deals and stuff like that, unfortunately, everybody, the way of these huge labels, they're not interested in humans. They're not. They are interested in AI. Who is the producer? What's his name? And he works with Missy Elliott. What's his name?
Timberland.
Timbaland. He's on the train already. He's
Yeah.
producing he's producing songs with AI all the time.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of money into this AI musician thing. So yes, we're gonna see some sellouts because wherever there's money, there's
But
people
those
to take it.
sellouts need to be careful. They
Mm.
need to be careful because if this is the direction Timberlake, I think Timberland, I think what you should really be scared of is you could be replaced.
Well, he doesn't care. He's made his money.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I don't think he cares.
And maybe not. Maybe not. But you wouldn't if you don't care, then why are you going to jump on the bandwagon, right? And so, but my point is that you too cannot have a job.
Right. Yeah.
So, be careful when you're signing up. So these labels, yeah, be careful when you're signing up with AI because if this girl in her house in the privacy of her home could make a multi-million dollar artist, then what's the point in having a beat maker? What's the point in having a huge studio for? What's the point in
Hmm.
doing any of that? I just need to have a somewhat decent computer. That's it. So there's a lot of jobs in the industry that will go null and void if we keep entertaining. If everybody jumps on the bandwagon, then a lot of jobs will be lost, and it's not just the singer. So I
Right.
mean, we need to really have an active say in this. And I've noticed in the last since Trump has come into power, the people we speak through our dollars. They don't want to hear anything we gotta say. until it comes down to the dollars and the cents.
Yeah, that's move that definitely moves the needle. Yeah.
Right? And so if we really want to be heard, we got to move that needle. So sorry, Nikki and Zene Monet, but I ain't listening to your shit. I'm not. I'm not. Because if I do, people like Kalani won't have no chance.
Right.
Right? Right. Okay. And isn't it funny how certain people like Beyonce, they started coming out of the industry right on to the time. She's like starting to digress a little bit
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
knows the direction they're going in.
Yeah.
She knows where this is leaded. Right? And so she's like, okay, let me get my last little kicks in, my last little, you know.
Yeah, and what's interesting, I agree. I
Mhm.
totally I agree with you on that line of thinking. And what she's also showing in this last kind of, I do agree that it's kind of like her last big climax of her career. I
Mhm.
think she'll still perform, but this is like the that's what I think anyway. So, but she's also showing her the value that the artist has in her performance art.
Yes.
So not just the music, but the
Yes.
performance of the music is authentic. And that's what she's really doing a master class of with these tours, these world tours.
Right. And one thing Beyonce has shown, and so many before her, okay, um, is that this is an art, and if you're not willing to give your all to it, forget
Mm,
about it. Because
right.
there are people like Zane Monet who will be created and can come and sing the same songs you sing, right? She, I've seen an actual picture of this AI musician, and
Mm,
she's really attractive,
mm-hmm.
and so one thing I wanted to mention that I didn't want to forget to talk about was the girl who created her. She said she's an extension of me.
Yes, that's when Gail put her on the spot. That was her response.
Yep. Yeah. What are we saying? What? An extension of you? Girl.
Well, she's very well media trained. A lot of her answers are like that.
Yeah, she had
I could
practice.
tell you a bunch of corporations who would respond that way.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yes, that's
Well,
the only response she could have.
yeah,
It's an
that would only
extension
make
of me.
sense, right?
It's
However,
an extension.
you're
It,
creating delusion.
yeah,
Like
but
you're
like,
creating delusion out here,
yeah,
right? And
but it's up to us, like you said, as a consumer, to reject it. So,
exactly, exactly. And so I guess what, we'll leave it there at that because
mhm.
ultimately, Gail King said it best: "You can't sing," and that's the truth. And at the end of the day, I want someone to be talented, to actually want. If we think of someone like Michael Jackson, who could play instruments, who could
Oh,
dance,
speaking of that, did you see the trailer for his movie?
I did, and I was like, "Don't play with me, people.
Yeah,
Don't
we'll talk about that next week.
don't play with me." Anyhow, but do
Mhm.
you see a talent? That's when you can say someone is actually talented, where they have something to give, they have something to offer, they have something that would interest people. Okay, this lady, this AI musician, she gonna get boring quick. She gonna get boring quick.
She's already boring as far as I'm
I
concerned.
listened to the 1 2 song and I was like, okay, yeah, it evokes emotion. Yeah, okay. Next. In the microwavable society that we live in, she ain't gonna cut it for very long.
Mm.
We don't realize, why Whitney Houston held our attention? Do you know why Michael Jackson held our attention? Beyonce, the rest of them? Because they actually had a talent worth looking at, worth tuning in for. I
Hmm.
mean, they actually, you want to see it. You want to see the ability, right? And this is just a computer screen.
Hmm.
How's she going to go on tour?
Right?
Oh, okay. So with that being said, everybody, we
Hmm.
hope that you see our point of view, and hopefully, it'll let you think, about this whole AI. And I think as a society, we need to be careful with this AI. We need to be real careful. Okay. Um, Yeah, just we need to be careful. And so we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.